Hey guys, and welcome back to Talking Business with Kobi Simmat. Our next guest is an incredible person with a huge amount of energy. He lined himself up to compete at the 2000 Sydney Olympics. Was a professional athlete in gymnastics. The thing that I really love about him is he's a father of two kids. He tries to have breakfast every morning and a coffee with his family when he can. He's a very busy entrepreneur with a record, and I think is probably one of Australia's most prolific writers. Of his 16 books, 11 of those books, which you've got to check out, and I'll give you the links when I introduce him, 16 of the 16 books, 11 of those written in 1 year. He built a bunch of businesses, starting business at 19 years of age. His current business is absolutely fantastic, really simple, really succinct. He has built out the business blueprint. He's also running Bizversity, which is like the Netflix of business. He successfully built one of Australia's first, or actually we think maybe one of the world's first, AI-based business advisors. He's been on Sky News, The Today Show, Forbes, ABC Radio. He's talked to Koshi. He's done a heap of stuff online. I'm super excited. The Huffington Post, Business Insider, Men's Health, and GQ. He's done a huge amount. We're like two peas in a pod. So more importantly, the most exciting thing is I've found somebody who takes almost as much time off work as I do. So if you're somebody who's interested in building your business, if you're someone who's interested in growing your business, if you're somebody who's interested in aligning yourself and following somebody who is living the dream and you want to get that business freedom and earn that income that you want to learn, I want to introduce you guys this morning to Dale Beaumont. He's an incredible person. Dale, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that extensive introduction. Thank you.
No worries at all. Look, I think, sometimes we say, hey, introduce yourself, but I think like your reputation precedes you. You've done a huge amount of work. You're doing great things to set a standard. And I think that the thing that I really love about what we get to talk about this morning is leading by example. And I think you've done a great job in leading by example. And yes, you put in the work and the evidence is there that people can reach out to you and follow. They can follow you on Instagram, Facebook, whole bunch of different platforms, whole bunch of different businesses. And I think for anyone who's thinking about starting, growing, expanding a business, or thinking about side hustle to main business, or even employees who want to follow somebody who can lead by example, you're a great example. And I'm really excited to be talking to you this morning. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for that. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, cool. So a couple of things I want to expand on and explore with you this morning. And I think the first thing that we were kind of talking before we kicked off the show this morning is really talking about business freedom. I took 9 weeks off earlier this year, due to COVID. We kind of dodged all the lockdowns and we got away and had a great road trip here in Australia. Talk to me about your view on, what you're excited about, kind of outside of work, and what drives you to kind of have that work-life intermingling.
Yeah, sure. So I've been in business for 20 years. Outside of business though, next, obviously the most important thing is family and my kids, which are growing up very, very fast. I got 2 boys, and I'll tell you about how I started, traveling and exploring. But that's the other thing I'm really passionate about is traveling and seeing the world and helping them to experience different cultures, different religions, different languages, different just different ways of doing things, and also I'm passionate about giving back and supporting a number of different charities, with a major one being Hands Across the Water, which builds homes in Thailand for underprivileged children. So that's a big passion of mine as well. Staying fit and participating in different sports, learning to surf, learning to play a game called pickleball at the moment, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, I think you only get one life, and you want to kind of fill it with as many things as possible and help a lot of people along the way. So that's kind of my mission.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that a lot of people fall into this trap that they think, oh, I'm going to start a business, or I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I've got to kind of turn off my life, switch off my life. And that's definitely my view of the world. You've got to pick up those experiences along the way. And I'm married to, my wife is a traveler. She self-identifies as a traveler. And, we had a lot of conflict in our relationship early on, where it was like, I'm going hard on business and you got to work before you play. And she's like, no, I'm not going to work. I'm just going to play the whole time. So it was really interesting conflict, which we've resolved to kind of go, okay, well, let's go traveling and do that kind of stuff. So, being in business, 20 years, and that's a long journey, and there's lots of highs and lows, and it's a roller coaster. What are some of the things that you can consciously say along the way that you've decided to do and built that have given you that opportunity for freedom?
Yeah. Okay. So first 7 years, I worked probably 7 days a week. This is from 2001 to 2007. So I poured every kind of waking hour when I wasn't sleeping or eating, was just working, and that's fine. But you can't sustain that for a long period of time. And if you try and do that, then other things in your life are going to start breaking, whether that be your marriage or your health, your relationship with family and friends, and also just your own mental health and well-being. And so something kind of had to give. And for me, it was becoming a father. So in 2007, our first son arrived, and I looked at this kind of like beautiful child. And I remember a friend of mine coming to the hospital. It was kind of like a mentor of mine, a lady in her 60s. And she said, just wait, mark my words, that one day you'll blink and you'll wake up and this little child here will be saying, Dad, where's the keys to the car? And that kind of just really made me realize the fact that that life, can go so quickly, and I don't want to spend the next 10 years of my life just working, and getting to the point whereby I finally kind of got a large sum of money, and I've got my time, and then all of a sudden, my kids, they're off, they're gone, they're living their own life. And so what I decided to do, and another thing was a pivotal moment at that point, I read the book, The 4-Hour Week by Tim Ferriss, and he kind of introduced this idea of, rather than doing the 40 plan, working 40 hours, a year, 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life to retire on 40% of your income. You can, at like 65 or 70 now, or 75 is when most people retire. You should take these mini retirements all throughout your working life. And so we sat down, because for that period of time, our business was our life and everything else fit around that. We said, no, that's kind of like, that's the wrong way around. We need to put our life first and what we want, and build a business that gives us the life that we want. And so what do we want to do? Well, we wanted to be able to spend time with our children. We wanted to be able to travel. We wanted to see the world. We want to create amazing memories and experiences, with each other and with our kids. And so what we decided to do was to reinvent our business and how we structured things, to start following this formula of doing 2 months work, 1 month not work or travel. So being somewhere else in the world. So we started that in 2008. Where we did 2 months work, 1 month off, 2 months work, 1 month. I mean, doing that basically up until COVID hit. We had been having about 4 to sometimes 5 months off every year. We have, as a result of that, we've traveled now as a family to more than 85 countries around the world. And we've had incredible experiences, been down to Antarctica, been up basically to the North Pole, as far north as you can kind of get, where there's still land. Yep. We have, we've gone to see Santa Claus in his village. We've, gone all throughout the, anyway, I'm not going to sit here and go through all my travels, but it's been an amazing journey. So I can talk a bit about how I've been able to do that, what you need in place, the mindset, the systems, the staff, all of the different structure. And what's so good is now that, while I'm away, I can keep my finger on the pulse. I can still run my business. There's a few apps that I use that help me to stay connected to what's going on in my business as well. So that's one of the unique things about building a business today, is it is possible for you to actually, have this amazing life and travel the world and still run a business at the same time. You just don't have to be there physically to do everything anymore.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's definitely something that I'd like to explore, because the kinds of people listening to this are two things. One is they can be a general manager. They can be that key person working for an entrepreneur. They can be, in a specific scope. They might be in a specific role in an organization, in a team of, say, 5 or 6 or 7 managers. So I have, I think we've got 8 managers now that are heads of parts of our business, and they've got big teams under them. So that, we've got listeners that are coming in from that direction. We've got business owners coming in from their direction. So I think I want to take this conversation in 2 parts. The first part, obviously, is if you're somebody, actually, let me circle back. Anyone listening, Dale's got some great courses. If you have a look at Bizversity, if you Google that, or you go to dalebeaumont.com, you can check out a bunch of his courses, and a couple of his courses there are, and videos on his YouTube channel, how to start a business. So I think that's something that if you haven't checked him out, go and check out those videos and check out that stuff. So Dale, if we just touch on that for a minute, for somebody who's, say, got a side hustle, and they're kind of saying, you know what, I think there's more for me in life. I've just heard Kobi and Dale talk about the fact that actually I can start a business, I can travel because I'm passionate about travel, for example. What would be 2 or 3 things that they can start to think about to go from side hustle to main hustle, and maybe flip from, kind of full-time and side hustle to part-time and build their hustle?
Yeah, cool. So so if you're someone that's got a sort of side hustle going, we want to be able to turn that from just a small income into a larger income, so you can go full time, and as you said, make it your primary sort of source of income. As you're building it, the mindset has always got to be this: will I ever have to do this again? Because anything that you're doing on a repeated basis, you can actually systemize and you can pass on to someone else. And eventually, what you want to understand about business, one of my mentors said to me once, you want to be the general of the army, not the soldier in the trenches. So you don't want to be the person that's having to do all the work. Now all of us start as the worker, all of us start as the doer. But if you stay as the doer, you'll be trapped in your business for forever. And basically, as soon as you stop, the money stops, because your whole business is dependent on you. So what you need to do is you need to start taking what it is that you do, your processes, your kind of like workflows, from everything to, how you respond to emails, to how you book kind of meetings, to how you generate invoices, how you kind of like follow up, clients, and how you onboard clients, everything, every single aspect of your business, from your marketing, sales, operations, your HR, all of that stuff needs to be documented and systemized. And then what you need to do is obviously hire someone that can actually do those elements for you. Now, they're not just going to kind of do whatever they want. They're going to be following your system, your procedure, because what you want to be able to do is to pass it on to someone else, so you can go and figure out the next thing that's going to grow your business, the next opportunity or the next problem that you can solve. So anything you're going to be doing on a repeated basis, you need to systemize, and then you need to hire someone else to do that. Now, you can start by hiring, and I think every entrepreneur, even if you're small, should start by hiring a part-time virtual assistant, someone that's normally based in the Philippines. If you're living in this part of the world, or anywhere in the world, you could benefit from someone in the Philippines. You can hire them for $5, $6, $7 an hour, and then you can go out and do jobs that are going to pay you $100 or $200 or $300 an hour. And what type of activities make that amount of money? It's normally marketing and sales. Marketing and sales is basically the engine room of your business. Everything else, like marketing and sales, is the accelerator. Everything else is the brake. So what you want to be doing is focusing your time more on marketing and sales and less time on the other stuff that you do in your business. So there are a few little tips there, and I can expand on some of those if you wish.
Yeah, look, no, I think that's a fantastic segue into something that Dale's got going at the moment, and that is that he's got a one-day marketing workshop. It's available through his website. You can go to businessblueprint.com. That's the correct website, I assume?
Yeah, businessblueprint.com. I run this great event called the Ultimate One-Day Marketing Bootcamp, which you'll find out about on the website. But because we just chatted about those 2 other points before, which is building systems and hiring virtual assistants, I've created these 2 free videos. They go for an hour long each. One's how to systemize your business step by step, and the other one's how to find, how to hire, how to manage virtual assistants. So I give that content away for free because I think it's essential. If you want to get to that next level in business, you can't be the person that does everything. So if you go to businessblueprint.com/training, you'll be able to access those 2 additional workshops for free.
Perfect. And they're great courses, and they're great workshops that I think everyone should go check out. They're free. You can jump in. He's got some great other content that you can drop your email address in there, and I'd recommend you do that so that you can get notifications and see what else he's got going, because he's got heaps in the pipeline. The next thing that I want to explore just around that, and in terms of some of the smaller and medium-sized organizations, there's always, well, not always, there's eventually 2 or 3 or 4 key people that the entrepreneurial person that might be listening can lean on. Had a great conversation with one of our heads of sales in one of our businesses yesterday. Really good guy, a lot of experience. He's got a team of about 6 reporting into him in one of our businesses. What's your advice for somebody who is gonna stay the employee? They're choosing to continue that career path. They're going to maybe, they're not necessarily want to have this massive freedom and massive income. They're choosing to say, no, actually, I want to help. I want to help the entrepreneur. Like, I'm on board with this mission. Like, I've bought the why. Like, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I want to be in this team. I want to be part of this team. I don't want to be the person right out in the spotlight. I'm happy to have a little bit of the sunshine on me as well, but they're going along on that journey. What's your advice to, say, one of your general managers or one of your key people working for you to kind of, what should they be focusing on themselves to continue to help that worthy cause progress?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, if you're an entrepreneur, which is someone that like has those entrepreneurial tendencies, meaning that you treat the business as your own, and that's what you should be doing. That's probably the number one piece of advice is act as if you own it. If you have that type of mindset and that type of philosophy where you have that care factor that that this is my business in a way, then you'll become indispensable to the business, and the business owner will kind of finally feel like, oh, there's someone else that's carrying this load. It's not all just me. It's not I've got some type of help, and I can go away and have a weekend or a holiday and know that the business is going to be looked after. So if you want to become indispensable and you want to make more money, then basically become more valuable. And how you become more valuable is treat the business like your own. So that'll be probably the number one tip. And then over time as well, what you really need to do is you need to start building a team underneath you, as well. So you can then start doing things that are more productive, in the business. And then you can start to contribute into areas of marketing and sales so you can grow the revenue further. And if you're actually now growing the business, not just maintaining the business, then again, your pay and your opportunities and your rewards, will go up. And you may even get to the point after a few years where you could even be earning some type of profit share in the business. And you may be by that time, well within your rights to sort of ask for something like that, because you can say, look at the growth, through my efforts and through my team that I have created as well. We've gone from here to here. And I'd really love to be able to make sure I'm sharing in the upside of this journey.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And you made a really good point earlier about, to the people that are business owners listening. This is also applicable to any sort of, managers or people that want to grow in an organization. Be part of the accelerator, not the brake. It is, help with sales and marketing and help with revenue growth, and start thinking about, well, am I helping the business to make more money, or am I helping the business to be more profitable? Am I helping the business to be more attractive? But what Dale was talking about there was, it's about the accelerator. So if we now target what we're talking about to sales and marketing, if you like, what are your thoughts on this concept of curiosity and choosing a business idea and validating whether this is, I'm being a focus group of one and it's just in my head, or actually looking out at the market? So someone's maybe got a side hustle they've started, they think it's a really good idea, they're kind of solving a problem. What's your advice to entrepreneurs because they've come up with an idea they want to pitch to their boss, or an entrepreneur who's saying, actually, I need to pivot, expand, or I want to grow my business? Where do they start?
Yeah, normally I recommend, whether you're a business owner or you're an entrepreneur and you've got an idea, ideas are great, but everything's really all about execution, and it's all about actually seeing if it's going to work for the minimum sort of time and effort possible. So basically, think of yourself like a scientist doing an experiment to say, okay, here's an idea, and I think it's pretty good, but let's kind of test it. So maybe you're going to do a sample size. If you've got a database of 1,000 people, I'm going to send an offer out to 50 people and see how many people reply. And if no one replies, then it's probably a good indication to say, okay, something's not right here. The product or service, isn't kind of right, or the messaging isn't quite right, etc. But normally the best ideas come not from you. The best ideas normally come from the customers that you're trying to serve. So yes, you might have a hunch, but then I'd recommend to anyone, do what we call customer interviews, and you can Google just customer interview questions questions. There's heaps of templates that are out there online, where you're going to interview 15 or maybe 20 people for about half an hour each. I know it's going to take time because no one wants to do this. They just want to jump straight into it. But normally they end up wasting weeks or months of time on stuff that doesn't work. So talk to 20 people and ask them those customer interview questions about, and it goes deeper than just what's your problem and whatever, but would you pay money for this? And also see if you can actually sell it and say, okay, great. Well, if I was to give you a 20% discount on this future product that I haven't created yet, would you be willing to purchase it now? And if the person says yes, you go, great. What's your credit card number? And if they pause or if they hesitate or if they, they're just kind of being kind and they're just telling you all the things that you want to hear, what your job is to do is, and it's not about getting the money, it's just about making sure that they're willing and able to part with their money. Then, if you've got someone that's willing to pay for something that you haven't even built right now, then you're on to a winner. Because most people, they just talk to their friends and family or people that they kind of know, and they say, yeah, that's a great idea. But it's like the real good ideas are ones that people actually want to pay for, and they want to pay for now.
Like right now. That is incredibly great advice. It's advice that I give all the time. It's, we call it the rapid launch. Can you rapid launch this thing? Can you get prepayments? A lot of authors do it. A lot of authors will say, you can pre-buy my book right now. It's coming out in 6 months' time. I think I've bought a dozen books that way where I can't wait to get that new thing, and I'm happy to support that author with that process. So they're good examples. Can you rapid launch your product? If we think about, thinking about entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs, I really like that term, and I'd forgotten about it. Honestly, it slipped from my vocabulary, which is, thanks for reminding me. With regards to sales and influence, so whether we're trying to influence the market, influence customers, influence internally, for these kind of internal people that are, that are talking to others and pitching their ideas and concepts, what are your tips on internal and external influence in terms of, is there a sequence? Is there a process? How does someone go about, improving that skill? Improving their ability to influence others? Yeah.
Yeah, cool. This is a kind of a topic that is always fun to learn about and to study. There's an amazing book / audio file that you can purchase, probably one of the best things that I've ever bought. I think it's like $20 or something like that. And it's called The One Sentence Persuasion. So it's how to influence others in one sentence. So what this guy has done is basically created these 5 core principles for influencing others and put it into a single sentence. And once you understand and remember this sentence, it just helps you to influence people more effectively. So the sentence, I'll give you the sentence, but I still want you to go and buy the book because it's definitely worth it. And you need to listen to the whole thing. It goes for about an hour and a half, and it's gold. And basically the sentence is this: people will do almost anything for those people that build their dreams, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, there's one more, allay their, so first of all, let's see if I can remember this, build their dreams. So what your job is to do is show people the result, the outcome, what's actually possible. And then you need to allay their fears. Everyone has fears around sort of taking action. So working out what those fears are and addressing those fears and concerns, ahead of time. And then it's justify their failures. People, unfortunately, this is one of those things that people don't want to take responsibility most. So it's like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you're overweight, it's your metabolism. But if you fix your metabolism, so it's about kind of giving people a kind of easy way out and just to help them to understand that their past, that's okay that things weren't great in the past, but now because of me and because of what we can do, things are going to be much better in the future. So I'll see if I can Google the fourth one.
So we got massive shout out to Luke and Cam, who help us with the podcast and produce all of this and make Dale and I look amazing. So what Luke and Cam are going to do is we'll drop links in the description to that content. All of Dale's stuff, all of his links we'll drop into the description. So you're exactly right. Like my view of the world is that if someone sees you as someone that's going to help them get what they want out of life, and so there's building blocks to that. So, people like to feel heard, people like to talk about themselves. And obviously if you can get somebody talking about themselves and you can acknowledge them and say, yeah, I hear you. And, I see that that's important for you. What are your goals? And then by asking about their goals and showing that you understand their goals, they start to make assumptions that you're going to help them achieve their goals. So I like the fact that you can do that in one sentence. And I'm someone who likes to work really smart and not hard because I'm notoriously lazy. So I'm trying to be as smart and as efficient as possible so I don't have to put as much energy in. So I like the idea of the one sentence. It's like, in Dumb and Dumber, and they said, you can get abs in 6 minutes. It's like, well, I'm going to get abs in 5 minutes, So,
Yeah. Exactly. So I recommend this. There's a couple that I've just given you, but if you want the rest, just go get the audio file. I make nothing from it, but it's just really great content.
Yeah, that's awesome. So just taking a completely different direction, I want to explore with you what's on your bucket list. Like what are the next couple of things on your life bucket list?
Let me pull it up. So yeah, there's lots of things that I'm really keen to get back to traveling. One of the biggest ones is to go to travel to 100 countries. So we've been at 85, which is pretty good, but really keen to get to 100. What else? So learning to surf, I've actually already ticked that one off. Buying a motorbike, I've done that one now as well. I want to run in the London or the Berlin marathon. I want to do the world's highest bungee jump. I want to get my license for being able to skydive solo. What else here? Just some small kind of. I wanted to do actually, I had it booked. It was supposed to be next week, but it got cancelled. Hopefully rescheduled. I wanted to do like an advanced, driving kind of like course with Mercedes-Benz AMG. So that will hopefully be happening soon. To go horseback riding in Mongolia, go to Oktoberfest in Munich, Germany. A lot of them have to do with travel. Visit the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, DC, to go skiing in Aspen, go to Kenya and see the Maasai warriors. So I could go on and on and on in terms of things I want to do. In fact, I've just bought a book and it's called 1,000 bucket list ideas. It's literally by my bed at home. So before I go to bed, I just flick through and read it and look at all the things that you can do.
Yeah, nice. And I think like I was going to ask you for a book recommendation, and I will ask you for one. But I think that what I've just observed about Dale and myself is that we've both got a document. I got a Google Doc with all my bucket list items. And when I was away for 9 weeks, I was actually honestly taking that much time off. It gave me a chance to do a heap of self-reflection. And I actually felt a little bit rudderless, even though I was ticking off bucket list items. And I revisited my list and there's a bunch of professional and personal stuff. And I love some of those things. But
so where did you go walkabout? When you said that you went traveling for 9 weeks, where did you go?
Well, we managed to escape from Sydney on the 7th of June, and we committed to taking some people to Cape York. So we've been up there a few times, which is right up to the very tip of the northeastern part of Australia at the north of Queensland. And we've done it once before. We'll hook up an off-road trailer in our 4x4 and we've got a Land Cruiser and we'll just disappear off into the desert or the bush or the Kimberley or, obviously due to COVID, we were like, all right, well, let's be a bit focused here. And we try to do one trip in Australia and then one trip overseas, and we kind of alternate. And that, my wife likes overseas and I like Australia, and we get a good blend. So
did you drive all the way up?
Yeah, we drove. So we did 16,000 kilometers in 9 weeks. And
wow.
Yes, we drove up and we managed to kind of, as we went north, Sydney collapsed, and then we were up really far north and we came back, and Fiona's father lives in Queensland. So we stopped there and had a great time. Harley, my son, we've just got one child, and he had, some amazing time with his grandfather. Like he's 11, and over the years of his life, he's kind of seen his grandfather when he comes down to Sydney for a weekend or a wedding or a birthday, sees him for a day or 2 days, and then granddad goes home and he talks to him on Skype or Zoom or FaceTime now because we've got granddad an iPhone. But so we kind of stopped at his house because Sydney was in lockdown, and we're like, well, we homeschooling started, we might as well just stay in Queensland. So we stayed on the Sunshine Coast for 3 weeks. We stayed in their house. They've got a granny flat out the back, and everyone had their space. And so granddad and and grandson got to spend some time together. And we ended up actually buying granddad's old car off him, and we brought that home. So, to the car keys for the child, the car's in the driveway. So he's still got a few years before he can drive it. He's practicing driving it in the driveway and on the farm. So I think that, for us, it was really good, that quality family time. We thought, well, what else can we do? So we went and did a road. We went, all right, well, let's extend our holiday. So we went to Fraser Island for a week, and that's incredible. And then Queensland went into lockdown. So we just went, all right, what do we do? So I'm like Googling ideas for outback travel in Queensland to get away from the Queensland lockdown. And we started a Queensland outback pub crawl. So we're like, let's go to all the amazing outback pubs. And the highlight of the trip is we went to the Ninda Gully pub, where for anyone who's Australian and listening, the Paperback Hero with Claudia Carvin and Hugh Jackman was shot. And they make a famous burger called the Road Train Burger. It's a 5.5 kilo burger. It's got a 1.5 kilo patty, and they serve it on this huge plate. It's $80. And it is just this fest of food. And they serve it with a bread knife, and you have kind of 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 people, and you cut slices like you're cutting a cake. And it was incredible. We got through about a quarter between the three of us, but just an incredible experience to kind of have. It's just camping, and there's not kind of all this other stuff that gets involved in life around us, and just really good quality time. We managed to drive around the lockdown and go to the snow. So Sydney,
wow.
the Australian ski fields this year were effectively, closed due to COVID, because all the Sydney siders couldn't go to the snow. So we managed to get the best season, I think, in 30 years to ourselves. So the regional lockdown sent us home, but I think for us, with the remoteness and we can, maybe in another conversation, we can do a deep dive into the apps that you can use to run your business. But, I've to your point earlier, I've delegated as many things as I possibly could to people. The one thing I've struggled to delegate at this point is the vision, which is why I wanted to kind of explore what an entrepreneur can do. And so, the team were able to run a quarterly review without me. They were able to do some great stuff. And so, yeah, it was good to just wander around and a couple of years ago, we did 7 weeks in the Kimberley. So I can obviously go on all day about it myself, but it's it is a lot of fun, and the business had one of its most successful quarters in my absence, which for any entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs listening, the entrepreneurs know that when the entrepreneur's around, they just create a mess and they create chaos and that kind of stuff. And yes, you need to have internal disruption, but I think that's really good to have that acknowledgement. So kind of final question for you as a leader with your team. What are some of the leadership realizations that you've come to over the last couple of years that you've like, I wish I'd known that in the beginning when you were starting with people and leading people?
Yeah, I think that, at some point you've got to make the transition from just like when you're starting out in business, it's like, here's all the things that you need to do. And then you basically go, here's another person and here's all the things that you need to do. And you basically just load up their plate with stuff to do. And it's pretty much just like, do this and have you done that? And here's the next thing to do. Now that'll only get you kind of so far, because it basically means that you are the person that's feeding everyone all of the jobs, all of the tasks. And you can do that with maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 people. But then after that, it just, that type of leadership, that type of management just does not work. So that's where you need to basically start giving people like roles and responsibilities and areas of the business that they now need to look after. With that as well, work out what the KPIs are for that particular role. And like, if these 3 things are going up, then you're doing great. And how you get there, and this is the hard thing to kind of to sort of like do, but how you get there is up to you. I'm going to kind of let go and give you that free rein to be able to decide how you're going to go about doing it. But at the end of the day, this is the outcome that we need, because those 3 things feed this thing, and that creates, that keeps the business moving forward. And so that's really where you need to start stepping back, and you need to start letting go. And you need to be that general rather than the kind of the soldier, telling people constantly what to do. So that's really kind of where you need to ultimately get to. And then beyond that, once is really you become a coach, and you become someone like, for example, if you're trying to figure something out, you shouldn't be the person up late at night Googling everything. It's just like, ask them the question, what do you think? And what's the best way to solve it? And there's this kind of really good formula, which is, one problem, 3 suggestions, 1 recommendation. So you can train your staff to sort of come to you and say, look, you've got an issue, you've got a problem, come to me, but make sure you define the problem. Okay, because there's no point just talking. We need to kind of go, okay, what are we dealing with here? But if you come to me with a problem, that's fine, but you've got to already have done some research to come up with 3 possible solutions to that particular problem. I don't want to just hear problems. I want to hear problems and solutions. And I want you to come up with 3 solutions. And then based on what you have discovered in your research, I want you to make 1 recommendation as of those 3 things. Which do you recommend we do and why? And then you can basically pitch that to me. So then from there, that you become basically a coach coaching your sort of team. They come to you with a problem and say, wow, yeah, I can totally understand how that's a really big issue right now. So what are your 3 solutions to that problem, and hear them all out. And then, okay, great. Well, so what's your recommendation? This, all right, well, I think that sounds about right. Well, why don't we give it a shot, and we'll focus on that for the next 2 weeks, and you can report back and let me know how you went. Or actually, out of those 3 recommendations, I really think that not number 1, but number 2 is going to be better, and here's why, because based on my previous experience, et cetera, et cetera. So let's do this instead, because I believe it's going to be more effective. Great. And then you can kind of like move forward. So it's not being the person that becomes the fountain of all knowledge, not being the problem solver, not being the person that does all of the thinking. It's the person that asks the questions that then helps people come to a joint decision, take ownership for it, so they can kind of like move forward. And ultimately, they if they do a great job, great, they can own it and give them all of the praise and all of the recognition. And if they make a mistake, hey, look, I was there to support you with it, and we made the decision together. That's bad luck. Let's just, we can always change it, we can always fix it, and let's just move on.
Yeah, awesome. Look, there is so much more that we could talk about, and so much more that we could explore. So that's going to be the incentive for everybody to connect with you and go find you. So we're going to drop some links in the description below the YouTube video. We'll put some in the description of the podcast. But more importantly, where's the best place to reach out to you to ask a question? Where's the best place for people to connect to you online? That's kind of your favorite platform you want to promote right now.
Yeah, so businessblueprint.com would be where I recommend you start. There's heaps of free training there. Start with a free training. There's a 1-day marketing bootcamp, which is awesome. And also I've got 4 or 5 other free workshops there that you can access on demand. Go to businessblueprint.com/training. If you go through that training, I'm happy to spend 5-10 minutes with any person that has a couple of questions after. You can connect with me on Facebook, send me a message via Facebook Messenger is probably the main one. But if you want to follow me on Instagram and YouTube and the other socials, that's fine too. And I'll do my best to help anyone that I can. That's
awesome. Look, go check out Dale on Instagram, because yes, he's been practicing this new amazing game that's a cross between tennis and badminton. He's also recently been checking out and trialing a flight board. So if you don't know what a flight board is, go check out the flight board. He posted a great video on Instagram of his flight board, and you can check out his cool little motorbike because he's recently got his bike license. So Dale Beaumont, it's been absolutely amazing having you on the show today. I really appreciate your time. I know everyone's tight for time right now, so go check out Dale's content. And if you don't see us on the Kobi Simmat audio experience and talking business, if you don't see us on Best Practice TV, you'll definitely see me right here next time on Talking Business with Kobi Simmat. Bye for now. Thanks, Dale. Been great to have you.
Yes, thanks so much. Great to chat with you. See you next time.
Cool. See you guys.